Streamelements, proper settings, and use in OBS Studio. Many streamers are in a habit of thinking about creating their alerts and overlays in the frame and size that they imagine them to be. This is a mistake, especially if you're going to switch to Streamelements. So continuing our series on Streamelements here, I want to help you guys with a few tricks that you can use to help create overlays and alerts for your stream with the proper settings and help you get creative. So the first thing you want to look at is overlay creation, and when you hit new overlay in Streamelements and my overlays under the streaming tools section, you're going to get asked this question first. What resolution do you want to use? Now, you have to think, I'm streaming at 720p. Maybe I should make 720p alerts, and you want to click 720p, but no. My suggestion is not to do that. I think you're always better off starting at 1080p, future-proofing yourself. We're not really at the place where 1080p is viable for most streamers, most computer setups. You really aren't at a place where you want to have crazy high-resolution stuff going on your stream. Your canvas size in OBS can affect your stream's computer performance. So I know a lot of you guys might be using a 720p canvas. You can still create 1080p alerts and overlays and use them as 720p canvas by fitting them. And then if you ever upgrade to 1080p on your OBS setup, you've already got 1080p overlays and alerts ready to go. You just have to fit everything back to its original 1080p size. This will future-proof you a bit. So, downscale, if you're going to use a smaller canvas than 1080, even if it's something even smaller than 720p, I'd rather you downscale your overlays and create them in 1080p, because really what matters most is the aspect ratio. Now, there can be some artifacting and weird things that happen with some things, but for the most part, you're using like low quality GIFs, which is fine, and you're using like these aren't super high quality assets that are going to like totally be destroyed when you shrink them. They might even look better when they get shrunk down a little bit. So choose 1080p, that's my suggestion, but you definitely need to put some more thought into it, okay? So we're going to start here, and the next thing I want to talk about is you can fit more than just alerts and individual things into what you're doing. I've seen a lot of creators take their Streamelements and make a ton of things. You know, this is the alerts one, and then this is the text. You know, I'm gonna have like sub count, or I'm gonna have a tip counter, and you start like making a ton of overlays. And it can be okay to like make them in separate overlays, but it might be a good idea to then copy them and move them to a final overlay, especially if it's just going to sit right on top of everything on your stream. So, and the other thing you could do is think about building entire scenes in here. So it's actually somewhat thoughtful to build maybe your BRB or starting student screen just right into this overlay. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to make a browser source version of my end screen to use in OBS. So I'm going to show you guys how this is possible. You can add your alerts in. You can add all kinds of layers. This is going to be real simple. It's just going to be 2 layers. So let's go and add. First, we want to, you're going to see all this different stuff here. Alerts, engagement. Look through this stuff. There's a search bar if you're really trying to find something you can't find. You could just go through all this stuff. Now, static and custom has a lot of good stuff in here. This is where I'm going to add a video. And what I want to do is hit change video. I'm going to go to upload, and we want to find our video that we use. This is if you have a video or you've got graphics to use for your stream, like a BRB or starting soon, an ending scene, all that kind of stuff. It could be a good idea to grab your files and just upload them here and use them as a browser source. So I'm going to upload my moshed video and video size. So you see, as you see it here, when I'm scaling this, it doesn't scale beyond its original size. So I want to hit scale to fit so I can actually stretch it out, right? So we're going to plop this right in the middle. Snapping down here can be helpful. So we're going to plop this here. And what we also need to do is add a black background. So I'm going to create, we're going to go to Photo P. Photo P. And I'm going to say 1920 by 1080, create. I'm just going to choose the paint bucket tool, make a black PNG, export PNG, save. We're going to move that to somewhere on our computer. And we are going to add another image, set image, upload, black background, upload, submit, and we want scaled again. And in here, position and size, I'm going to put 1920 by 1080 since we know exactly. And since there's layers, I'm going to put this black background. And here's our video. So this is the IQ moshed. And there we go. We've got a nice clean black background. We've got the logo going on here. It's really nice and clean. The last thing we need is our text. So I've got an image file created for this already. So we're going to make another image file here. And we're going to hit set image, upload. And I'm going to drag my text image in with upload that, submit. We're going to say scaled again. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to make it big, and I'm going to put it down here like this. And I'm going to use the keys, the arrow keys, to nudge it over just a little bit. And then we're going to hit save. And I'm going to save this as IQ ending screen. That's fine, right? Save. So now I've got my ending screen ready to go as a browser source. So now I don't have to like drop it in and do extra editing and stuff like that. I can actually cut straight to this when I'm recording videos as my end screen. So actually in OBS, I can just copy the URL for this and put it as a browser source, match it at 1920 by 1080. You always want to match the browser source size to the canvas size that you've built in Streamelements to the source size in OBS, and then just scale it to fit it down. Remember the hotkeys, Control F to scale. But that's it. Now I've got my ending scene as a browser source built in here. You can do this with your starting soon screen. There's even timers and different things in here. There's a countdown timer. So if you want to load your starting soon screen and immediately start a countdown timer, this is where you would add it. You can have your alerts. If you've already got your alerts built into another overlay, just all you have to do, I'll hit save one more time. And say I want to bring my alerts into this. We're going to go to our alerts overlay, click edit. You're going to click on your layer. So I've got this alert box here, and up here there's a little duplicate icon. So we're going to click duplicate, and we're going to say other overlays. And I'm going to choose IQ ending screen, click submit, leave this overlay, and we're going to go into the ending scene, and there it is. There's my alert box. I can even emulate, test an alert, and we've got our alerts on this screen, and we can move them so that they go, unlock it, and put them wherever they would look nice, and wherever you want. So that is one of the quick ways I suggest everyone kind of build their BRB and ending scenes around a browser source like this, and it can actually take some of the work off of your computer because you're hosting, especially if it's going to be like WebMs and things like that. Highly recommend you go this route. Now, sometimes you might see that there's like a weird outline or something. That may not be in the final. So if I copy this overlay URL and paste it in here, you don't see it. So in the editor here, you're going to see outlines of things. Those outlines are not in the final view. So you can always just preview it in a new tab, and you're good to go. The last thing I want to show you is, let's say so I'm going to turn these layers off, and we're just going to stay in here for the moment. So let's say you're going to make let's make a new a new scene together. Okay, so I'm going to make another overlay. 1080p is good. I'm going to name this playing live overlays. This is what we're going to be playing. So one trick you can do is you can grab a screenshot from your stream. Make sure it's 1920 by 1080. Make sure you get it exactly, or 720 is fine too. Just make sure it's 16 by 9, I guess. But if you can get a 1920 by 1080 or a 1280 by 720 screenshot so that it's pixel perfect, that would be great. So we're going to add an image, and you want to find your screenshot, and we want to go to upload. If you try to drag files in when you're in all files, it will not work. So make sure you click on upload, and you're going to drag your screenshot in. So here's a screenshot of me playing Rocket League back in the day. I'm going to click upload and click submit. So I think this is a 720p image, right? So if I go beyond, if I try to make it 1920 by 1080, it won't do it. I got to hit scaled. And we want to make sure, we're going to type in, we're going to go into the position size style tab, and we're going to say exactly 1920 by 1080. So it scales my 720p screenshot up to 1920 by 1080. And now you can use this layer as live screenshot. Now you can use this. I'm going to turn off my camera real quick so we can see this whole thing. You can use this to add new things. You can add alert boxes. You can add labels. So if I want to say latest follower, and let's say I want to put this down here. See, this lets you get a good idea of what your overlays will look like on your stream. You've got a preview of what they might look like, where you want to put them. So like it would be bad for me to have it here. If I didn't have this screenshot in here, if I just turn this off, we wouldn't even know. And turning it off actually doesn't get rid of it. See how it's kind of like still there? So you can actually turn it off and still be helpful. So I suggest grab a screenshot of a game you play regularly, things like that, and try to make sure that your overlays, your alerts, you can put your alert boxes in here and test them, get the size perfect, get everything set up right, and having a screenshot of your stream is going to help with placement of things. You can test out your camera borders. You can test out your alerts. You can test out all kinds of things. Anything you're going to build in here, grab a screenshot and use it to help build everything. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that this was helpful. I want you guys to get creative. I will show you some more in-depth stuff with Streamelements moving forward. And thank you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one.